Hi, I've done the thing where I haven't streamed in a while and I forgot how to stream. Hi to me, Scott. Sorry I haven't streamed in a while. It's been a dense time. A dense time in my life. And I gotta go to Pittsburgh. Not gotta go. I get to go to Pittsburgh next week for a few weeks to work on some children's museum stuff. So I'm not gonna be able to stream for a few weeks. So I thought I would at least try to get a stream. And I have to work on site somewhere this afternoon. So I've only got 2 hours. We're gonna try, and you're not gonna believe this, to solve a Blobz puzzle. I know, a rare treat. Rare treat. Just got an email about my on-site jobs today. So let's jump right in because I'm pretty jazzed about this. Oil, water, nights. 2 stars, 97%. That's pretty amazing. So I am pretty jazzed about this. Well, this is interesting. Okay, Blobz has categorized this as which makes sense, I guess. It's an oil and water puzzle, so part of the oil and water series. I wondered if it was going to be part of the night, but I guess his nights are like drunken nights, right? But this is sort of drunken nighty, right? Maybe not. Anyway, let's jump into this puzzle after we pick a wet background. That night was in front of a waterfall, so we need some kind of waterfall background if Shader Toy is going to cooperate. Waterfall. My little sister is going to visit this weekend, who's never been anywhere in her life. So that should be exciting. I'm going to take her to some waterfalls. 11 of them, in fact, I think. That's pretty. Look at that. Very simple but attractive. Kind of like that. Okay, so as with any oil... Hello, Jan. How's it going? As with any oil and water puzzle, I'm going to get tremendously confused by coloring because through some sort of twist of synesthesia, the concept of oil and water and even and odd and orange and blue, none of that works well for me. Normally I would say that blue is even, but in this puzzle, even is oil and oil is orange. It's a very complicated thing. So I'm definitely going to mess that up at some point. But let's read through the rules. So normal Sudoku rules, standard chess rules, no repeats in cages, and then we've got the oil situation going on, right? So each cage is either full of oil, even digits, which I'm going to screw up for sure, full of water, odd digits, which we're going to make blue, which is bad. In all cases, each row within a cage is just of one type. So it levels horizontally. Oil floats on water, so even will always be on top. And that's what we get to know. So we can see, we have some immediate given wetness. And we will try to remember that wetness works as expected here. And we get 1 bit of oiliness. Now, there are only 5 wet digits. So I don't think we could ever get wetness here because if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'd have to have additional wetness. So I believe that this is going to be oiliness. This still could be either or, I think. Similarly, there are only 4 oily digits. So in a cage like this could never be oily because then everything above it would be oily because oil sits on top of water and we'd be in a bad situation. So I think this is going to be wet. Similarly, in fact, all of this has to be oily because we know this is oily for the same reason we know this is wet for the reason we just described. However, this couldn't all be oily, so this must also be wet. However, this cannot, our wetness can't fully fill this or we'd have 6. So we do need some oiliness in that neighborhood, which is exciting. Flinty, how's it going? Oh, the oil, Jan. The if you haven't seen or done any of them, all of Blob's oil and water puzzles are amazing. The one challenge is just my own inability to reckon with the colors I have chosen. Maybe if I chose different colors, I'd have less difficulty with it. But there's a fundamental problem I think with like even if you ignoring the colors, I would call even wet and odd oily. That's just my interpretation. So I think we're gonna have more of these. We're gonna have more of this situation. Oh, yeah. This one is gosh, this is probably like 10th in the series or something like that of oily. And then Blobz has a long-running series of Knights puzzles, but I guess this is technically not a Drunken Knights puzzle. We'll see. We'll see if the drunken knightliness factors in. So we have another 6 cell, which means that these could never be oily, because then all these would be oily, so that would be bad. So these are wet, but these could never be wet because then we'd have too much wetness. So these are oily. A little worried I'm going to make a mistake here. So this has 8 digits in it. So even if all of these were oily, we would run out of oiliness. So no matter what, these are wet. But even if these were all wet, we'd run out of wetness and these would be oily. I can feel myself trying to make mistakes. So really trying to not. Even if we had total oiliness, this would be wet. But this could be, well, it can't, which is interesting. I was gonna say like in a vacuum, we would say like, yes, actually this could be entirely wet, but we already have 2 wet digits in the column. And the only way this could be entirely wet is if this was entirely oily, which it isn't. So this is certainly oily, and I believe this is too, right? Like if this was all wet, we'd have a total of 6 wet digits, which is a no-go. Orange for odd. I know, but then you have orange water. And orange water, doesn't that seem weird? Water shouldn't be orange. This is a puzzle where all of my, where that logic really struggle with it. Nobody wants orange water. I just have to think of them as wet or oily, and then I think generally that works for me. So we only have 4 wets available. So, I'm sorry, we only have 4 oily available, so this is certainly wet. And then, so now we have, that's a pretty good like lay of the land, I think. So we may have, trying to decide now. So we could either now do kind of a second pass, just seeing, that we've mainly filled some rows and columns and just understand like what it would mean. Like for example, actually that could work, which is funny. What I was going to say was not a true statement, but we have all our evens in here, for example. So these are wets. There's probably more versions of that are just eluding me. At a certain point, we will also need to think about the nature of the oiliness. But I have a feeling, I sort of have a feeling that we're going to. Okay, well, one thing we can see is in this situation, both of these can't be fully wet, right? Because we wouldn't have enough wets. That would be 6 wets, and we can't have 6 wets, period. We also can't have 6 oilies, period. So one of these is fully oily, and one of these is fully wet. And that means that we have our 5 wets and 3 oilies either here or here. So this is a remaining oily, and oil sits on top of oil. That gives us all the oils in this column, which makes these wet. I feel like I'm going to make a mistake that is silly just because I can't keep track of oiliness and wetness. But so we have one more wet in here. We have one more wet in this column. Probably very obvious things here to think about. I really should just make these absurd colors. They should be like pink and green or something, and maybe that would help me. Well, okay, gosh. We should also, even though these aren't in cages, they're useful to color. These are oily digits, and this is a wet digit. Just for kind of understanding in terms of like rows and columns, what oiliness and wetness we have available to us. Also, cage repetition is forbidden. So just a thing to be mindful of, like with this 4, for example, this 4 is not going to repeat in here. This 4 won't repeat in the cage, and it's not here, and it is not wet. So we do know there is an oily 4 lurking in box 5 down here. That's maybe not tremendously useful at this moment, but there it is. 3 is not quite easy. Helio, how's it going? We know there's a 6 in here because every even digit is here and it's not there. So that is a 6, which means this is only a 2 or an 8. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself because it feels to me like we can go further on our oily wet knowledge. That might not be true. For like, we know 8's in here. 8's in one of these 2 places, which means 8 is in one of these 2 places. Hello, Helio. Am I getting ahead of myself? We know 4, I don't know. Okay, let's do Sudoku for a minute. I don't know that I feel like this is very useful. Now, this is our first sort of nightly situation. We know 4 is in here because it's oily. By Knight's move, this 4 is seen. So 4 is either here or here. That also means that's going to push 4 down into this neighborhood. Now, in terms of nightliness, these 8's I think are going to... I don't know, actually. They may have a little tussle. They may have a disagreement. I don't know if I'm ready to think about that. I'm having that paralysis where I'm not sure quite what I want to consider. Well, right. This is not oily. If this was oily, these would all be oily, and that's too much. So this is wet. Good old water. Water. Good old water. I'm going to Pennsylvania next week where water is water. That's more like a Philly thing, but water, which is also Long Island. Oh, I have the heat map on instead of tomatoes. Interesting. Okay. Yes, you're right. We need to fill our wetness here. Normally I have tomatoes on for Sudoku streams. So that's a very good point. We know this is wet because of this situation, right? This situation forces, because if we put oily here, and as soon as this wetness happens, it flows into here. And as soon as that happens, we have our full complement of wets. So we get 2 more oilies, which is very exciting. It's actually the original heat. I had reset it for a different stream I was doing that was not Sudoku. And this is it. The original heat was just a heat map. Maybe we'll leave it. We'll try heat maps today. It lingers a little longer than tomatoes. That might be too helpful. That might be more helpful than I'm aiming for. But anyway, so that was exciting. Now, what do we think about? That could be every single person. We also do need to think about Heat is a kind of a Twitch app that I made, Jan, that lets you click on the screen to like throw tomatoes and make colors and that kind of things. Yeah. So it lets you, this is, we have a heavy focus here. Yes, a very good point. Okay, this like heat may be too helpful for this, but if we filled water to here, that would be legal, except we already have a wet here. So this is in fact an oily. So, but maybe this is good for when I get distracted and go off on tangents. So That's exciting. We know that these digits are different. I'm pretty interested, like this digit, for example, is pretty interesting, right? Because this digit is, whatever this digit is, which is 2 or 8, right, is not going to reappear in the cage. It's also not wet. It also sees these by Knight's Move and sees that by Sudoku. So this digit does exist here or here. If it was an 8, it would have to be there. If it's a 2, lamely, it can kind of be anywhere. 6 is funny here because we would know the 6. Ah, interesting. I'm gonna tell you something that I don't think this can be even, because we've placed 6 in here, right? And if this is even, then one of these is definitely a 6. But then we end up with a, oh no, actually, sorry, it's just allowed. I'm sorry, it is. I was thinking for a moment that it was forbidden by, if these were the 6s, it would be forbidden by Knight's Move, but it's actually not. It actually would be okay to have a 6 in there. So don't listen to me or anything I say ever again. Okay, so what do we want to think of? I just feel so tempted to keep looking for, like we need one more even in this column. Where does it live? Like I'm stuck on the question of whether or not I'm ready to, we know there's no 8s in here, for example. I don't know if that's very helpful, but we do know that to be true. Like this digit in general is not in any of these places, whether it's even or odd. Maybe we need to think about our given digits a touch. Okay, these are not all even, right? Because if these were all even, 8 would have to appear in here, right? If these were all oily orange, this digit sees all of these because it sees these by Knight's Move. So these are not all oily orange, which means this is the wet row, which means this is the orange, because we had determined that this is kind of one of each, which is exciting. That means all of our, yeah, that's a cool one. All of our, now I've distracted myself from what I was going to say. I was going to say something like we have now expressed this full row. This I still feel like has a way to exist. We know 4s are not in there because of this situation. 6 is not there, so 6 is in this neighborhood, for whatever that is worth. I guess we know 6 is up here, right? Because we've determined that because this is 4, it has 6 in it. So 6 does have to make an appearance upstairs here. Oh yes, thank you. We have, maybe that's what I was going to say and then distracted myself, that we have used all of our evens here. So that is our full complement of evens. So now we need our full complement of wets. This 9 looks in here, so we can see that the 9 needs to be up here. And interesting, the 9 needs to be up here because it's wet. 9 also needs to be here because it's wet. But that means this isn't 9, right? So do we get our first digit? Do we all agree with that? That this is our first digit? 9 in box 8 is pushed up like this. I think that feels right. So that feels good. And yes, I do see that now we have our full complement of wets. So we need some oilies down here. It's very exciting. The oily 4 we have determined somehow exists here. So one of these is our oily 4. Oily 4, I don't know what that means. Don't know what to tell you. We do know that 6 is up here somewhere. This 6, ah gosh, interesting. there's just enough wiggle room to not rule out a 6, I think. Okay, anyway, we got our first digit, which is exciting. We got, I was thinking about 9s. That rules 9s out of here, right? Because we end up in a dire situation. We try to put 9s here because they would self-eliminate by Knight's rules in Sudoku. So it does put a 9 in this cage, but we already knew there wasn't a 9 in this cage. We do have a lot of water. This is a very wet place. Is that a hint to think about vertical water? We have all of our evens in here. So this is a wet person. That means these are all wet, which means this is an oily person, which means this can't be a 6, which makes this wet and places the 6 here, I believe. And then, oh, can we think about this person as well? Is it time to think about you? Let me finish thinking about this, and then we'll think about that person. So the 4, actually the 4 is fine. This digit, well, we don't know what it is. Up here is up here. There's no repetition because we have an oily, we have a oily wet split rift. We have a wet oily rift. Okay. We want to think about this. Are we ready to think about this? We can make these. Could not this be? Couldn't this still be oily? Am I wrong about that? Or wet? Maybe I'm just not seeing that. Probably just not seeing that. Did want to think about I just wanted to think, now that we're kind of like narrowing, we have a lot of these boxes where we fully narrow the positions, which trap evens and odds. I was looking for overlapping that with the knight move. Am I going to spring a leak? Is that my problem? It's going to be too wet. Let's see. Let's think about the implications of wetness here. What are the implications of wetness or oiliness here? Oiliness . 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be the 5th. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I need to be thinking about this, not this. Well, maybe they're related, but anyway, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We can at most have one more wet. So this is oily, and it is what? We're saying that this is like an oily wet pair. Oh, we also have our full, that gives us our full complement of oilies here, which gives us a wet there, which is very exciting. That is interesting. Maybe okay. Just pretty constrained now. One's in one of those two positions, which is not outrageously helpful, is it? One is in this little cul-de-sac, I think. But one has some leeway. We did place our 4 here and our 4 here, and somehow decided not to pencil mark this. But for why did we say that? We said that because this 4 sees all of these by Sudoku, sees all of these by cage, and then it's not wet. So 4 is here, which places 4 here. That seems sort of okay at the moment. This couldn't be a 4 because it would see both of those. So this is only 2, 6, or 8. But I think that's okay. like having the 4, that's going to push the 4 into one of these places, which doesn't seem horribly offensive to me. I don't know. Maybe it is. We know that 4 is not here because it would see both of these, but it kind of seems like 4 can be in this little rainbow. Or did I miss something on top of column 6? What did I miss? Or maybe we already got it. Was it this oily fellow? I'm behind. I'm behind on the times. Oh, gosh, 6 in here is pretty constrained. 6 is not a wet digit. 6 sees that by Sudoku. 6 sees this by Knight's Move. But actually, I think both of these can still be 6, I think. Now, with 6 in here, Black Doom, how's it going? Oh, do I need to? So I should think about box 5? Let's think about box 5. How are we going to think about box 5? I don't remember. Who knows? So what did we think about? For this 4 corners this, right? This, oh yeah, of course. Gosh, the exact same thing. I'm so good at that. This is like my special superpower. Okay, thanks so much, Jan. Enjoy your class. I am the master at like seeing something and then never seeing it again. It really is a special talent. But just as this 8 like sees all of these pluses are very powerful. This 4 sees all of these evens. This 4 has total vision into this little nook, and this little nook is all oily. So there must be a 4 in here. It just is required. So this is not a 4. Which sees this 4, which places this 4 and places this 4. It's gonna throw a 4 upstairs here somewhere. This 4 is gonna place a 4 in one of these. That's what I do, Helio. Or what I like to, actually my favorite thing to do is to like make a deduction and then, but not be able to use it at that moment and then never use it. So I'm a big fan of just like really thinking hard about something, doing nothing with it, and then, oh yes, absolutely color these 4s. Sorry. And then move on with my life. That's my preferred way to play. Keeps things exciting. So we said 4s could go in here. So we do know 4 is in this little neighborhood, but this 4 has vision in here. And actually, that's interesting. So we placed the 4 here, right? We already said 4 couldn't be here. 4 can't be here because 4 sees this, 4 sees this. So we placed the 4 here. So that's not 4. That makes things a little difficult for 4 in here. Well, let's think about this again. So 4 is not wet. 4 has vision there. 4 has vision here. 4 also has vision here. So one of these people is our 4, I believe. Also, I'm neglecting to wetify. So this is a wet person, which it obviously was, right? From even ignoring the row, once we have this in here, we can't make this fully oily, or we have 5 oilies, and that is strictly forbidden. Strictly forbidden to have 5 oilies. So that is soaking wet. Interesting thing on the 9s again, this 9 sees here and this 9 sees here. So we place our 9 here. I see heat happening out of the corner of my eyes. Let me finish this 9 and then I'll look at I'll address the heat. Oh no, I waited too long. That 9 logic was cool. I like this, the way that like we get this weird vision. It's very cool. So the other half of this 2-8 pair is down here, and the other half of this digit is over here, it would seem. Oh, okay, that's great. Awesome. We're in sync now, synchronized. So, what do we want to do now? Probably some more coloring that emerged that I missed. Feels likely. We almost have our 4s figured out, right? It's very close. Maybe the 4s are actually like resolved, and I'm just missing 4ness. Are there more 9s nining? That's a good point, Helio. Like, night puzzles can be really anti-night puzzles, I say, can be kind of tedious sometimes, like where it's just like spot the conflict. Those are puzzles where I like turn off the error checking just because the whole puzzle is just looking for those conflicts. And not that that's bad, it's just not very exciting. But this has a really interesting interaction of, like, knights have a certain kind of vision, and the oily wetness is applying a certain kind of a pressure arrangement based on the cage arrangement, which is cool. It's super cool. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's think more about 9s. Let's think all about 9s, in fact. Where are these 9s? 9s are not in the middle. 9s are not vertical. This 9, well, and this 9 sees this and this. Did I do that correctly? This 9 has vision on all of these. This 9 has vision on these. So we vertically place our 9s, which 9ifies up here in no 9s there or there, but 9s in the corner. Possibly reasonable. Am I not thinking about 9s again? Okay, sorry. Yes, obviously, of course, the same logic that we've done twice now, I'm totally missing. This is cool. Like, when we get these wet rows and oily rows, 9 sees this. That is not a 9. This 9 sneaks up there and sees this, which is very cool. That un-9ifies you. That is going to... No 9s, no 9s, no 9s. Puts 9s in this world. Can we do better than that? Feels like we can do better than that, and I'm just missing it. In this world, we ended up with 9s in the corner, right? Because this 9 doesn't have vision into those. Oh no, do I need to use 2 kinds of logic? Black Doom, I cannot. This is an outrage. You expect me to use 2 kinds of logic instead of just fully ignoring them? I refuse to. I'm sorry, but I can't do it. Okay, so what do we want to think about? One thing that one could see, well, okay, I'm probably not looking at the right thing, but wait, did we place 4 and I'm just missing it? Is 4 placed? No. 4 could be up here. At least I think it could be. Okay, sorry. Give me a moment to wrap my mind around what we're dealing with here. 3 sees you, people. You're not a 3 and you're not a 3. 3 sees you by cage, and 3 sees you by nightliness, which seems to 3ify here. Oh yeah, but that's also nightly. Wait, is that true? Does this 3 just see every single thing? This 3 sees this by oil, this by Sudoku, this by night, this by night. That's not a 3. That's not a 3. We placed a 3, and then 3 ends up, which I will make wet, which makes you oily finally, and then we end up with 3 here or here, which is not nightly at this moment. I don't know if that was the right logic. Hopefully I'm getting there. So that did do something, right? It gave us some kind of Well, just pushes. Curious about 3's in here. Maybe we're not ready for that, but 3 is ruled out of here. And 3 is also ruled out of here. 3 is also ruled out of here. And this is not 3. Not great. Almost. This 3's sneaking around in the darkness. 3 does see the here and into here and over here, and 3 is not even. So I think that 3ifies one of those two, and then 3 is obviously in this little nook, but this can't be 3 because it would see this digit and this digit. Does that check out that these are 3's? So now do we have our same thing again? This is a little bit different version, but it's cool. It's really impressive how powerful, once you've the pressure that you get, like this is like a knight, anti-knight at its most powerful, where it just sees 3 cells in a row, and then we have oiliness seeing all of this, and we have a digit. So I think we place our 3 here, and then we will un-3ify these people, and then we will 3ify down here, which I think can only be there. Now what? Now what? 3 is one of you people, but not entirely clear which. This 3 unfortunately doesn't have a lot of vision into here. These 3's are really doing stuff, really lurking around like a bunch of creeps. Do have like a 157 triple. I don't know if I care enough to. I mean, one thing that's a little interesting. Should I be thinking hard about this? Probably. Oh, well. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure this is what we're talking about, but this 8 must make an appearance in this cage. So it's not here, so it must be here. So there's definitely 8 in here. This is definitely not an 8, which weirdly forces this to be an 8, because this obviously isn't an 8 because of this, but if this was an 8, it would mean there's no 8 in the cage. So I think that 8ifies this and 2ifies this, and then that's going to travel around a little bit. That does place the 8 here and make it oily. 8 is oily. We get a 2-6 pair here, which knocks 6 out of here and makes this 6, and then makes this, is that true? I hope that's true. And makes this a 4-8 pair. Is that a true statement? And then 6ifies here. Well, that just is the 2 because it sees everybody else. Somehow we now have all of our oilies here, which whatifies you, 2ifies you. Okay, hopefully no mistakes. That was cool. That was like very sudden. We just suddenly, things float around. We get a 4-6 pair here, but 4 sees this, so it unravels that to, nope, it's not the thing to do. That to the 6, that to the 4, the 2, the 6, the 4 gets placed here, the 6 gets placed here. I mailed the Sudoku pads to Simon and Mark. I think they arrived. I don't know. I paid so much money to send those to England. I don't think they've made any mention of them. Not that, who knows? Not that they are required to or anything, but hopefully someone will let me know if they're mentioned on a stream, because I'm definitely behind on cracking the cryptic. 6, 8, a 2 here, an 8 here. So I think we're going to get our evens basically placed, right? All our these oily little creeps. The 4 is there and it's oily. The 2, oily 2 is here. I hope they enjoy it. I mean, even if they aren't used, you know, they're very silly devices. Hopefully they're like at least a fun curio. More than anything, you know, without even, I really don't have any expectations. You know, it'd be great to get a shout out, but I don't have any expectations. But the main thing is I hope they arrived. Like, that is the one thing I would really like to know, that they, as far as I can tell, the delivery happened to whatever their like PO box place is. But I don't actually have a way to know if they personally received them. So also, who knows how often they check or whatever. Again, I don't have expectations. It's just I hope they arrived in one piece. Well, that forces an oily here, right? Which forces 6. I'm not even paying attention to the right rules. We have our complement of oilies, so these are wet. We do need a 2 in here, and that has vision there. So you are wet. So have we fully wetified this puzzle? I believe we have. Well, that's fun. And have we fully even oddified? It's true, we've done it. I've been thinking a lot about oil because I've been playing Satisfactory. A lot of oil production. It's kind of interesting because I've been playing Satisfactory while also doing a lot of like mechanical and circuit design, and there's a lot of overlap. Yes, that is a 2. You're right. I had not fully filled in everything. Okay, so now who's gonna crack this open for us? Who's the lucky digit? We do get this is a 5-7 pair, which is gonna force this to be the 1, which pulls 1 out of here. This is where I'm gonna do a very poor job. This is a 1-5 pair, which is, I don't think there's any infighting at the moment. This isn't a 5, right? Because this is a 5-7 pair. Because a 5 here would break this. So this actually is the 1, which un-1ifies you, and which places a 5 here, which makes you a 1 or a 7, because we have 3, 5, 9, but 1 is there, so that's the 7 after all. That's going to push the 7 into the cellar here, which that one is seen by Knight's move. 7, 7, 7's already here, which we already know that. 7, 7 is going to place the 7 down here. That makes this a 1-5 pair, which I don't think anybody sees yet. This digit must appear down here, which we know that already because it's 1-5 pair, but I'm going to think about it in the complicated way, because why not? 7 in here, so now, right, so 7 in here sees all of these, so that just places the 7 here. We get a 7 here, this one, there's vision into this one. We have 7 and 9, so this is 1, 3, 5. I don't think anybody sees that yet. Does 3 see that? It's the reason we said this could, no, it's not. So this sees 3, 5, and 7, so that's only 1 or 5. Which is okay. I'm gonna argue that that's fine. This is a 5-9 pair, which at this moment I think is okay. It's not. Oh, I totally missed that. Boy, bad at night. 7, 5. That's great. 7 sees in there. 5 has vision here. And 5 has vision here. This becomes 1, 3. 1, 3. Boy, I'm doing bad at these night. That's embarrassing. That un-3ifies you, which is going to put 3 into a different corner for once. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is lovely. It's very smooth now. If I can just do Sudoku, which, you know, not my strong suit. 5 is not here. So the 5 is just pushed down here. So that's going to unfurl all of our, oops. Well, it actually doesn't unfurl all of them. I was wrong. I was dead wrong. we know that this is a 1 or a 3 because of the cage and 1 is seen, so this becomes the 3 and the 1. That un-3ifies you and places a 3 here. So, so that is true. It's just true. This becomes a 1-9 pair, and with 1 only being there, 9 being there. That places 9 here. That does what? That, I think, is gonna... Did I break something? No, I guess it's okay. These just don't see each other. This becomes a 5-7 pair. Wait, uh-oh, did I make a mistake? Oh, you're right, there was another 9. You're totally right. Thank you. I was about to say, like, I think I broke the puzzle, but you are very correct. That 9 could still be here. Thank you for catching that, because I was momentarily frozen on like, uh-oh, did I make a bad decision? Probably. I think that may still work out. I mean, unclear. The brother of this 5-7 appears here. This 5-7, well, we know this 5-7 is this 5-7. That is for sure. This 5-7, I guess that's okay. Never mind. So we get 3-9 here, and the 3 is going to see this, right? So the 3 is placed. 9 is placed here, so this is the 9 after all. So that does actually work out. I was just going about things in the wrong way. Hey, Radid, how's it going? Our 5, sorry, the 7 is seen just by Sudoku. So now I can do all of these. Okay. This is lovely. What a lovely puzzle. 5, place a 1 here. That was lovely. What a lovely puzzle. I don't even know. I mean, I obviously made silly mistakes and stumbled because I always do. Thanks, everybody. That was super fun. What an interesting combo. As usual, I struggled with the concept of evenness and wetness and oddness and evenness and orangeness and blueness, but we made it through really interesting interactions. Like this kind of thing was very lovely. Like the vision we had into here to like determine the wetness, or like when we didn't know this was all wet and it could have been all even, this vision, that was very cool. So that was a set of logic that was cool. These kind of like the kind of triple vision we got sometimes from the Knight's move, and then kind of the inverse of that, I guess related, where we would sort of like have a 7 seeing this, and like a split version of that, I guess, where we had a single digit that had major vision, and then we also had like these splits where I can't remember exactly where, but basically like you could say like, okay, there's only a certain number of places that an odd digit could go, and we would just find, you know, that like none of these could be 7 or whatever because they were eliminated from their other wet possibilities, which was super cool. Life is yours. Hey, buddy. Thank you. Oh, wait, Flinty, is that the solution? I didn't even pay attention. I gotta log in. We gotta log in here. I don't remember my name. Solution is row 2. It is. Oh, Flinty, that's very sweet of you to just give that directly. Okay, are we good here? We happy? Did we do it? That puzzle, you know, I basically say everything is average because I'm trying not to skew the results, because I just feel like I'm below average solving, I feel like, when it comes to Logic Master solvers. I will say it was very nice, no question of that. I don't know. I'm going to stick with my policy of trying to not skew the results. Although in this case, maybe it's skewing it higher than it should be. It was very smooth. Like some of those interactions, like really interesting deductions that you wouldn't normally expect in either one of these puzzles, which, you know, that's to me the hallmark of like a beautiful combination of rule sets, is when new logic emerges. I can't spell. Lovely. This is a lovely puzzle. Wait, Flinty, do you want me to have a puzzle to solve? I have about if I can solve it in an hour, I would be glad to. And just for the I was thinking of stopping. I do have a few other Blobz puzzles. I unfortunately kind of constrained on time today, but Flinty, if you had a puzzle, I'd be glad to look at it. If you can give me like a 1 or 2 star that you think I could do in an hour. If you have something that you would like me to solve. I also understand not wanting to watch me solve a puzzle. I don't know how anyone watches me solve their puzzles. Especially like Skojo and Helio, just infinite patience. I'm glad to look at anything if you want to share. Look and say, is that the like where they could be one of 2 kinds of things? I don't know, Rad Dude. You're on puzzle probation after that last one you made me solve. That absurd one, that absurd maze. Okay, Flinty, I'd be glad to look. Am I right about that? Is look and say where it's like this is either a skyscraper or an X sum? Is it that kind of thing? Oh, I say, okay, I'm thinking of something more complicated. I'm thinking of that situation, maybe Skojo, I think Skojo does that, where Skojo's like, this is either a look and say, or it is a skyscraper. Or like, either this is a look and say, or an X sum. Rad Dude, it was some puzzle that was like, totally, not that it was bad, it was very silly. It was a puzzle that was like, I'm trying to remember what it was. Like, I think it was a certain path kind of thing that was just like basically given, and you told me it was just to see how fast you could fill it in. Yeah, I remember, Helio. So I think I have done a lot of look and say puzzles actually, or a fair number, because I think Skojo does a fair number of them, but because it's Skojo makes them hard, where it's like there'll be a digit outside that is maybe it's a look and say, or maybe it's an X sum, or maybe it's a skyscraper or whatever, you know, where you don't actually know what it is because Skojo lives to torture me. That's not true, but that's how I feel sometimes in solving the puzzles. Dutch flatmates. Okay, I will take a pass at this. We'll see how it goes. So, every 5 in the grid must have a 1 directly above it or a 9 below it. I love this rule set because I forget that every time. This is going to be amazing. Prepare for me to forget that rule set every time. Okay, so we either have knock 3 times on the ceiling, if you love me, twice on the pipe, whatever. We've got Tony, Orlando, and Don rules. Look and say cages, which actually I don't know that I've ever done a look and say cage. The number at the top left is split up into pairs. For each pair should be read there are X, Y's in the cage. If you had 1, 4, 3, 2, it'd be there's 1, 4, and 3 2s, right? That's the reading here. So I need like 3 6s, 3 7s. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Wait a second. Wait, what am I doing? Oh no, that's right. 3 6s, 3 7s, 3 8s, right? I don't. There was a time on stream. I should not even probably say this, where Skojo just like. I don't remember how this happened, but basically Skojo guessed my social security number like within 2 digits. It was so, I don't even remember the context of this, but I basically almost doxed myself on stream because what was the context? Anyway, somehow Skojo like almost doxed me by almost guessing my social security number, which was a crazy thing to happen. Okay, let's figure out Flinty's phone number. So we have 9 digits accounted for here, right? 333. 9 out of 12 digits are accounted here. We have 6 digits accounted here. We have, oh goodness. This is a huge cage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And we have only 1, 5, only 8 digits accounted here. These are all enormous. Good news is there's no 4s in here. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about putting a 4 in here. Okay, that's going to be kind of useful, right? A little bit. Okay, well, I'm going to start doing this and stumble through it embarrassingly, and everyone can laugh at me. In this case, Helio, it was something ridiculous where it was like something about like the row solution of a puzzle where I made a comment that it was like, I like made a joke about it being close to my social security number. It was something, I really can't remember. I wish I could remember, but it was basically like the solution was like, oh, weird. That's fairly close to my social security number. And then Skojo like took a guess at it and it was like almost right on. It was a little disturbing. I should not have acknowledged that it was almost right on, probably. Anyway, so one thing we can see immediately is the 0 9s is going to 9ify this, right? Am I supposed to be thinking about this person? I don't want to think about this person yet. I mean, okay, I guess, right. That makes this a 3 6 9 triple, right? Is that where we're supposed to start? I don't want to start there. Yeah, it was total coincidence. It wasn't him like making an educated guess. It was just Skojo's powers of deduction and luck. Okay, I wanted to start with this 9, but now let's think about this. Because we've got 3 3 3, but we're split across 3 cages, right? So even though we have some variability in these other neighborhoods, there's no leeway in here, right? So 6, 7, 8 get peer pressured into the corner, right? Because that's the only way to do it. And then that's peer pressure is going to bounce back. That's cute. Is that true, or am I making bad? Am I making bad deductions here? Well, that is adorable. That is very. I'm charmed already. Quite charming. So that is very cool. So things that's useful, like in things like thinking about, for example, this person is in probably a better place to look at this, but like the 4 2s, for example, are going to, the 4 boxes we're going to know that to reach our allotment of 4 2s, we've got to do this, right? And these 2s rule these 2s out, and these 2s rule these 2s out. Is that right? There's like a part of my brain that is itching about repeating digits and cages, which is obviously required here. But let me think about that for 1 second. Like we just said that four boxes need 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they must be here, which means they're not here, which means they are here, which means they're not here. Is that a statement we're prepared to live with? This needs 2 7s. So in your 7s are going to be here, and your 7s are going to be here. These 7s see these 7s. So we end up with a little nook here. We know 7's up here and 7's up here, right? So we place a 7. Is that true? This is very lovely. If I'm doing it right, which, hey, no guarantees. I think I got a digit, maybe. We do have 2 6s here, which is going to have similar logic. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. I get 2 digits. These 7s see these 7s because this is a Sudoku puzzle, which places a 7 here as well, which sees this 7. So 7s now end up in this neighborhood. I was about to mention the 2 6s, which does this, but these 6s see these 6s, right? This person is 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 5s. correct? There's 4 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there needs to be a 5 in each of these. And this 5 is going to see this and place this 5, is going to see this and place this 5, is going to see all these and place 5 here. Is that a true statement? It's really lovely, Flinty. This is super cool. Like really interesting. If I could tell my brain to like turn off the like blinking red light that says don't repeat your digits. So we need to push 5. Push 5 in the basement over here. And then what else do we need to do? We need to push 5 up here. We also need to think about our forbidden digits, right? Like there are we have a number of forbidden digits. Like there's 0 3s in here, and there's 0 8s in here. The 8s are a little interesting. 0 9s in here, which let me get my favorite deduction so far. Useful, maybe not, but I'm excited about it. We do need 2 4s, which is a little interesting. Okay, 0 4s in here. 2 4s there. I don't know about that. Okay, what other digits do we need to discuss with each other? Only 1 1. 0 9s. Oh no, I feel like I had some momentum, and then I got excited about having momentum. And now what has happened? Am I forgetting something obvious? I told you I was going to forget the Dutch flatmates. That is, for some reason, this rule, more than any other rule, like, it's truly incredible that this rule is like, for some reason, cannot like take purchase in my mind. I don't know why. It is like my #1 most forgotten rule. Okay. You will recall that the Tony, Orlando, and Dawn that's Tony, Orlando, and Dawn, right? The knock 3 times on the ceiling rules dictate that the 5 is in love with 1 or 9, or 1 or 9 are in love with the 5. Tony Orlando never addresses who lives in the basement of this building. But we know there's no 9s in here, right? So our 1 1, well, what if this is a 5 though? Couldn't we? Okay, sorry, I just need to wrap my brain around this for just a minute. Please forgive me. We know that there's a 5 here, and that 5 does not have a 9 above or below it, right? It's not allowed to have a 9. So every 5 must, okay, gosh, it's a 1 above it or a 9 below it. There's no 9s. So any 5 in here must have a 1 above it. Is that right? Like, whichever of these is a 5, there's a 1 on top. This 5 then, therefore, but this 5 could have a 9 below it, right? But there's only one total 1 in this whole cage. I realize everyone's 10 steps ahead of me. I'm sorry. I don't know why I have such trouble with this rule. Obviously, all of these 5s can't all have 1s above them. 2 of these 5s must have 9s below them. This 5 cannot have a 9 below it. It's just not possible. So our 1 1 is spoken for, right? Is that a true statement? Like, one of these, it is forbidden that there's a 9 below it. So there must be a 1 in one of these, which is a terrible pencil mark. But that means that this 5 can't have a 1 above it because we've used our 1 1. So this 5 must have a 9 below it. Is that a true statement? And that means that this 5 cannot have a 9 below it Awesome. This 5 cannot have a 9 below it. It also can't have a 1 above it because we used the 1 already. So that's not 5. This 5 cannot have a 9 below it, but it could have a 1 above it because that wouldn't be in the cage. Now, what about this jerk? One of these 5s must have a 9 below them. Wait, no, did I break the puzzle? These 5s don't work. These 5s can't have a 1 above them because we already used the 1, and they can't have a 9 below them. These 5s are just forbidden from the world. So only this 5 is allowed, and this 5. And this 5 cannot have a 9 below it, so it must have a 1 above it. Is that... Are all of our 5s emotionally stable now? Oh, did I screw up? There was another place for 5 in column 1? I thought wait, I'm sorry. What did I do here? Yeah, why did I say that? Now I've forgotten what my logic was. Sorry. Wait, why did I do that? Now I don't even remember what I said. Oh, I just missed that. I guess I just missed a pencil mark. I'm sorry, that's wrong. But this 5, it is true to say, I believe, that this 5 cannot have a 9 below it. So it must have a 1 that's in love with it. Yeah, that 5 is in a different building. I don't even care about that 5. Hey girl, what you doing down there? No, it's up there. Right. See, here's the thing. The song is either about the 5 that's in love with the 1, or it's about the 9 that's in love with the 5. It's a good song. Okay, now I've distracted myself with Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. This 5 is a love connection. We've made our love connection here. We've made our love connection here. This 5, we're discussing the love connection. It's definitely a 1. We just haven't quite figured it out. So we're going to place a 5 down here. This 5 must have a love connection, but it doesn't seem forbidden from love. We did place our 9 though, right? Because we said, yeah, right, we've placed our 9. This 9 is lonely because it lost its love, which is very sad. This 5, if this was 5, it would need a 9 below it, and then 9 would be in love with the 5. If this was 5, then that would be 1. There's definitely a 1 in, annoyingly, the 1 can sneak up here. This person has love options. These people have love options, I believe. 9 is the loneliest number. I've heard that. I've been told that 9 is the loneliest number. Okay, I'm sorry. I've gotten off track a little bit here. So let's regroup. Now that we remember there is a whole separate rule set in this puzzle, that now, prepare, I will just forget. I'm just get ready because I'm going to forget again that is a thing. Your love connection. See, this person's love connection is just not in a cage. So it's untethered from societal pressure. So 9. The 5 is going to steal the 1 or the 9 over here. But that doesn't fight with these, because you could do that. I guess if you did that, its other brother ends up down here. So we have our 1, 1 is over here. We've talked about our 4, 5s. Talked about our 0, 9s. Our 3, 8s we have not discussed so much, but I'm not motivated by those 3, 8s. I'm actually very motivated by the 9s and 1s, but options seem to be lacking. Not sure. Okay, so let's reconsider. This 5 would need a 9. This 5 would need a 1. So, and then the other 5 gets like thrown into the sky over here. Why not fully considered 5-ness? Because that love situation is that love situation isn't just about what's in a cage. Obviously, it needs to apply here too, and it also needs to apply here. So that does put in this cage the 1 or 9 for this 5 needs to exist here. This person has some options. This person has some options. This person, it's either here or here. This person, 5 is in this neighborhood. But that seems okay. Well, okay, right. Interesting. 5 in box 3 is not down here, it's not there. So 5 is in this neighborhood. But remember, it must have something above or below it. And this can't have anything above it. It can't have the 1 above it, and it can't have 9 below it. So 5 is ruled out of there. So our 5 is placed here. If this is 5, this is 9. So we end up with a little party going on here, right? Like we're gonna have a 1, 9 with the 5, and then in the other instance, the other digit gets like pushed down. So that also means that 5 is in here, right? That 5 sees in there. 5 is in here, but this 5 cannot have a lover. 5s just don't care about 7s. So that puts 5 in here with 1 or 9, which rules 5 out of here, which places 5 here. And the 5 needs to be in love with someone above it, which is a 1. And we have a love connection. Is that true? How do we feel about this love connection? Hopefully good. So this 5 needs a love connection. Flinty feels good about this love connection. It really is a match made in heaven. They really are perfect for each other. 9 then ends up out in the cold, sadly, very sadly. But what can you do? 9 could be in love over here. Okay, what else? Do we learn something else from this column? It feels like we should have learned some things. You would have thought that I would have learned something. The 2 4s and the 4 2s, the 4 5s and the 3 8s. Probably some insightful so you don't have a lover. You're lonely. Sorry. We'll make you pink for brokenhearted. 7s don't love anybody. Nobody loves a 7. That's what I've always said. There's no 4s in here, which is a little interesting. Am I thinking about the wrong thing again? Do I need to be in box 1? Am I being nudged towards box 1? What do we know about you, box 1? I want to think about this, like there's this X-wing of love a little bit, right? Oh my gosh, or we could just do Sudoku. Good grief. Did you know we could just do Sudoku? We placed 6 here. Good, oh gosh, this was just handed to us on a silver platter. By the 2-6 logic does this. These 6 see here. We've had this 6 sitting here for 7 hours now, which looks right in here. It's basically the same thing with the 7s, except I just fully ignored it. So we get the 8 and the 7 and the 6th place, the 6th place and the 8th place. Good heavens. I'm out here looking for love connections. I know, it's outrageous. I'm trying to bring people together. I'm trying to do a love connection. I don't have time for Sudoku. is pretty. It's frankly pretty upsetting. Pretty upset by the situation. That does cram 6 up here. It would seem the 6, 7, 8's already crammed over here. We knew about that. Are there more of those lurking in the darkness? We did end up with our 6 up here, but our 6 is not numbered. I saw a spark. I saw a spark happen over there. Did we? 6s are not numbered there. Sevens are high and low. What else we need? 3 8s. What I'm waiting for is like for one of these to fill up, right? Like what if as soon as one of these filled up, we'd spill over and we'd know where our 8s are. But I don't think we have reached our cup does not yet runneth over with oil or water or 8s at this point in time. Okay. Get back in the game. Back in the game. What did we just do? We untangled this, which was an exciting thing to happen. Did that have an impact on the rest of the world? The 3 8 situation. Oh, the 8s. This 5 does make this exclusive. Okay, right. Even though we, good grief, even though we span 4 boxes here, these boxes are mutually exclusive, right? We can't have 8s in both of these boxes. This 5 forbids that. So really, our 3 8s are determined. So there is an 8 in here that's not here. We absolutely have an 8 in here, and we absolutely have an 8 in here. I will tell you. Which sees this 8, I think. You know anything else about 8s in our lives? We know there's no 8s. So that means there's no 8s in here, and there's no 8s in here. So that puts 8s in this little wedge. That's not a wedge. That's not wedge shaped. Some might call this a square. I would call it a very low resolution circle. Extremely low resolution circle. Okay, so we've cornered the 8s. Having an 8 in here is fine, probably. Having an 8 in here means there's definitely got to be 8 in here. And then an 8 gets pushed over here. Oh, which is a little interesting. I mean, there are no 8s. Right. This person is anti-8. So the 8 does have to appear in this, in one of these lands. Am I barking up the wrong tree with 8s? This 8 sees this 8. Do we care about these 8s? Am I on the wrong track with 8s? Oh, there's also no 3s in here. By the way. Is there more to think about with 9s? Probably. Well, like this. For example, 9 is pushed down. Thank you, Flinty. 9, I mean, I don't know that I'm going to do this right, but thank you for the gentle nudge. 9s, some will tell you, are pushed into this neighborhood, which seems fine in terms of romance with 5s. Like, there's romance brewing down here, but a 1 could swoop in. Also means 9s. Nine is in this little cul-de-sac, right? Which means there is... Remember, this is either 5 with a 1 or 5 with a 9. It's either 5-1 or 5-9 are our two situations here. I mean, we haven't even considered the possibility of the, like, menage a trois. It's possible. It could happen. We could have like a serious love connection over here. Unprecedented, but possible. 5 here has the same kind of thing going on, where it is either going to need 5 with a 9 or 5 with a 1. But what does that mean? What other obvious 9-related conclusions have I neglected to make? 9. Nine in here is in this neighborhood, which seems to have no bearing on anything. The 9 over here is a little bit interesting. It may or may not be in a romantic relationship with the 5. It might be in a throuple. 9 in this neighborhood. 9 in this neighborhood. Sure, I'm missing something obvious. This 5 wants a 1 or a 9 or both. This 5 is forbidden from 9s. This 5 is not able to romance a 9. It's just not allowed. The 9, meaning the 5 must have a 1, meaning there's definitely a 1 in here, meaning there's no 1 here. Oh no, I see. Am I looking at the right place? Okay. I'm looking at, Helios slipped into poetry again, which are my favorite kind of Helio riddles. Okay, I see a lot of heat happening. Let me just think for 1 second about the like 1 to 9 implication. Right, 9's just not in here, period. Good heavens. 9 is, I'm over here thinking about 9's not being down here. 9's nowhere in here. 9's up here, right? The 9's are forbidden from this neighborhood. It's kind of awful when you think about it. 9's are also forbidden from being there. That puts 9 here, right? Like in column 2, I'm not sure if this is what you're pointing me at. It probably is. Should be very obvious. 9 is not anywhere. We already talked about this logic with like the 8s, like these being a run of cells puts a lot of pressure on them. 9 doesn't appear anywhere in here. That puts 9 up here. It's not here. That means that this 9 is not destined for love with the 5. That means the 5 can't go here because it cannot love a 9. It's very sad. So we have another lonely 9, and we have another love connection with the 5 and the 1. I believe. I hope that's true. I mean, it's sad for the 9, but... And then we know, what do we know about anything? That sees here, so our 5 is up here, and somehow we knew 5 couldn't be on top or under anything, so that does 5-ify. So 9 does find love, which is beautiful. That un-9ifies you, places 9 here. You are a lonely person. Hopefully we're doing okay here. That means 1 in here is not going to find love, but you know, love, 1 has had a lot of love so far. That means this 5 cannot have a 1 on top. So this 5 must have a 9 on bottom, which, you know, that is going to stick the 9 up here, which looks like Sudoku to me. This 5 is happily married. Our 5s are really finding love. What do we know about 1s? I'll tell you a thing we know about 1s. I'll tell you one thing we know about 1s. We know one is not 5 or 9. We know 1 is not here. We know 1 is not here. We also know 1 is not here, right? Because in this cage, we use the 1, 1 we had available to us. So we have to un-1 this, right? So these are 1, and these are 1. And that means this can't be 5 because it can't have a 9 in the basement, and it can't have a 1 on top. So that un-505s you. This could be a 5 with a 9. This could be a 5 with a 9 or 1, I think. So we kind of cornered our 1s, I believe. 9s are down here. We already know this 5 goes with a 1. We don't exactly know where the 1 is, do we? This 5, what do we know about it? We know it's 5 with a 9 here, which would put the 9 here, and maybe that's fine. Oh my gosh, look at this. I see there's, oh wait, do you guys ever done Sudoku before? I might have to go back to tomatoes. The tomatoes like leave a little bit of ambiguity of where to look. The heat map, I know that you all are loving it because you can tell me exactly what obvious thing I'm missing. But by just good old fashioned Sudoku, this is a 1, which is interesting because 9 and 1 are now considering things. That puts 1 and 5 down here, and the 1 must be on top, which is very exciting. So we have a couple. That is going to place our 1 here, I believe. And it's going to nudge our 5 up. This 5, that definitely has a 1. So there's a 1 here or here. Gosh, okay. I gotta finish this puzzle, get out of here. But it's great. This is a really lovely puzzle. These are relatively constrained, right? I mean, we only have like 2, 4, 6 anyway. Not 2, 4, 6. I'm sorry. 2, 3, 4 anyway. And these can't be 2. Is this just a 3, 4 pair? Is that true? Am I like losing my ability to do Sudoku? I already forgot why. It's you. The 4 2s means the 2's in here. That means there's no 2's here. We have everything else in the column, so that's a 3, 4 pair, right? And then 2 in the column can only go here. Is this true? And that's going to 9ify. Well, we could have seen that anyway. That 9 gets placed here. So that does 9ify you. Flinty approves. That's exciting. This is a lonely 9. I'm sorry. We flag the lonely. That's the Lonely Hearts Club band. Okay, well that's exciting because we're starting to get some insight into 3s and 4s. It also probably means that something happens here in terms of 2, 3, 4. Well, that's just the leftovers, right? Uh-oh. Wait, there was another option in box 8? Did it really? Why am I so bad at this? One had another option in there? I think I ruled them. How did I rule that out? Shoot. How did I rule that out? Maybe I didn't. Maybe that was a lie. Possibly a lie. Sorry about that. Did I have some reasoning of that based on 1s and 9s and 5s or whatever? Or am I just like wrong? I think I'm just wrong. Okay, back up a little bit. Back up the wrongness. Sorry. Oh, they're trying to... I shouldn't rush. Anyway, it still is true that 9 is here and 2 is here, and this is a 3, 4 pair. 9 comes out of there. Oops. That's not how you use this program. 9 comes out of there and out of there. The 5 gets a 1. Did I have some way of seeing that, or am I just making stuff up? I'm probably just making stuff up. That does place the 9 here. The 9 is lonely. You're lonely. You're lonely. This is a 2, 3, 4 triple, which at this moment seems okay. This is also a 2, 3, 4 triple, but the 2 can't be here. These 5s are in love. 5 can't go here, right? 5 can't go here because this can't be 9 and this can't be 1. Is that true? We pull 5 up out of here and put 5 here and 5 here and make this 1 and this 1. So we get to our 1 by legal means. You're lonely because you're not going to be above the 5. You're a couple. We have no thruples. I guess we still have the possibility of a thruple, of a single thruple, I think. Okay, are we doing okay here? We good? Okay, save the day. It's always embarrassing when I get something right the wrong way. Nobody like task failed successfully. That's not a good look. So, I have some inkling that we need to like think about something. Right. Maybe we're not ready yet. Well, shoot, I guess we're not quite ready yet. The 2 4s we're close to. We're close to understanding those 2 4s, but I think we don't quite understand them yet. Sorry, I thought we were ready for 2s and 4s, but I think that may not be true. The 2 is here though, or here, so that's not 2. Am I missing Sudoku? Oh, good old-fashioned Sudoku, huh? Look, I even have a pencil mark for it. So that is a couple, right? But there's still a possibility of a thruple. This is a lonely 9. Okay. So like 20 minutes, but I've got faith. I've got some kind of faith for some reason. So we need a 3, a 4, a 6, and an 8 here. Do we know anything about any of those? It feels like we should know something about those. Because somebody allowed or not allowed? Can't remember actually. 4, 6, 8. Right. We said this was a get out of jail card for both 3 and 8, right? And now we have lost our escape. So, right, 3. There's 0 3s and 0 8s in here. This is not 3 or 8, so this is just a 3-8 pair. I believe that to be true. And then what does that mean? That means this is 2, 4, 6, but there's 0, 4. Okay, there's 4 in here because there's no 4s in here, so that's 4. So this is just a 2, 6 pair, right? And this 6 is seen, so that's the 2 and that's the 6. And this is a 3, 4, 7. Very excited. The plot is thickening. So we kind of have all of our love connections, even though I'm very excited to see if this turns out to be a throuple. This is a great puzzle, Flinty. Lots of really interesting interplay here. So we have a 3, 8. We also need a 6, which makes sense. 6, 8, but the 6 is definitely down here because of reasons. We still need 2 4s. But there's still a little bit of flexibility, right? In terms of where those go. Because there's definitely a 4 in here. No, well, that's a very slight but 4 is in here. There's 0 4s in there, which puts 4 here, which sees this. So that's 3 and that's 4. How do you like them apples? So then we get 8 and we get 3, which makes that a 6, 8 pair. The 3's got to get placed. This becomes a 3, 7 pair. And this becomes, well, that just places the 2 for reasons I don't understand. Right, because this was 4 2s in 4 boxes. So we have to have a 2 in here. So that is the 2, that is the 4. And we need two 4s, and it's not in there, and it's not in there. So we have to have a 4 in here. So this is a 3. And we have to, well, you're not 3, you're 3. We have to have a 4 in here, and it's not there. So 4 is in this little Tower of Wonder, I think. Okay. How are we feeling here? We in good shape? Helio is giving me secret codes. Helio, you should have been the CIA. Okay, maybe I actually think it's better that you weren't in CIA. CIA, not a great history. So 7s are squished into here. Do we know anything about 7s in terms of recommendations on where to place them, for example? I feel like we know. Do we know something? We do know something. We know, well, one thing we know is we need 3 8s, and there's no 8 down here. So there's definitely 8 in here. So this is not an 8, right? Which does place 8 up here, not in the middle. So we get a little 8 X-wing. This is a very funny digit because it's not 1 and it's not 2. It could be 3. It could be 4. It's not 5. It's not 6. It's not 7. And it's not 8, it would seem. This seems to be also 2, 3, 4. The 2 sees that. I guess we could have seen this another way. Place the 2 there. Helio. Maybe you should just become the Riddler. Okay, do we have weird 1, 2, 4 triplets all over the place? We got lots of 2s and 4s emerging. 1 is definitely crammed in here. Okay, let me just finish kind of this little neighborhood I was just thinking about. So the 3 and the 4, but there's 0 3s in here. So that's the 4 and that's the 3. Is my suggestion, which places the 7 and the 3 here, which surely must do some damage in terms of 7-ness. So 7 is up here, which is going to place 7 here. Pencil marks are getting a little wild. Need a 6 and an 8 here, and what else? 4. 4, 6, 8. That's not a very fun triple. That's true. It's not enough riddle-based advertising. Helio could really revolutionize the industry. We know there's a 4 in here. I'm gonna just do a quick little party check. Like, our 8 got crammed in here. We don't know about 3s. We know there's no 3 in here, but that's kind of the extent of our 3 knowledge, right? I mean, 3 is in here. So you aren't, what are you? You're not 1. You could be 2. You're not 3. You're not 4. You're not 5. You're not 6. You could be 7. You're not 8, and you're not 9. So that is only a 2 or a 7. Is there a reason that's offensive to us? Our 2 6s, of course, are accounted for. The 3 also, so the 3's got to exist in this neighborhood and in this neighborhood. Probably thinking too hard about this. Did we say something? It's a 4, 6, 8 triple. Okay, this is just me being bad at Sudoku, so this is what you all signed up for. You're done. This person is a happy camper. This person, we have our 1, 1. Oh, we have our 1, 1. By the way, Sudoku 1, who's lonely. Which means there's no thruple. Ah, so sorry, everyone. We didn't get the thruple we were hoping for. That was going to be the big season finale. Gosh. It's just too bad. We also have Sudoku here for 3s, turns out, which gives us the 8, which un-8ifies this. Is that true? More thruples? That's what everybody wants. They want the spice things up a little bit of scandal. You're the other half of a 2-7 pair. You are something annoying. I don't even look at you. Don't even look at me. Okay. I feel like there's things I should know. Like one thing I know is there's a 3 in here, right? That's a thing that I know with the 8, in fact. So this just is a 3-8 pair. And that makes this the other half of this 2-7 pair. And that makes the other half of this 2-7 pair in here with a 6 and also another digit. That is a 4. Ooh. I mean, why stop at the thruples? Get the next door neighbors in too. Maybe that's too hard. Maybe that's impossible. I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting. Like some kind of flatmate where you could work horizontally or vertically. Like 5 could really swing. Okay, sorry. I'm distracting myself with like headcanon of shipping these numbers. These are not terms I would normally use. Okay, so what do we need, everybody? We need to probably just like think about Sudoku for 5 seconds and finish this puzzle. We certainly have an 8 in here. But the 8 is split. Okay, whatever. Do we just need a pencil mark here? Is that what we need to do? I was feeling like these things would just leap out at me, but they have not. This is 2, 7, 6, or 4, which is not extremely exciting. I feel like I just hit a point where like my brain turned off. Your 8 is in here. Just checking our bookkeeping here. Make sure we've got our 4s and our 1s. We've got our 1, 1. Like if we like basically addressed our bookkeeping, I see a giant blob happening. Do we just need to think about this person? So the digits that can be in here, this is a 2, 6, 8 with what? This is 2, 6, 7, 8. Right? Is that the nature of this situation? But this does not. This digit is not 2 or 8. So this is 2, 6, 7, 8. But we've said, for reasons I don't remember, that 8 is up here. And we have said, for other reasons that no one recalls, there must be 2 2s. Oh, does that mean that? Oh, there's only 2 2s in here. That means I'm sorry, 4 2s. There's only 2 4s and there's 4 2s. So there must be a 2 in here, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3. We need a 2 in this box and it must be here. That's probably what you were pointing me to. And I came about it in the way that I came about it. So you're not a 2. So this is 6, 7 because the 8 lives in this the penthouse suite up here. So now we've kind of addressed these. Perhaps. That is going to push a 2 up here. What else did we just learn? You're 6, 7, 8. But is somebody forbidden? I don't think so. That was 6. The 2 is definitely over here. Does somebody need to appear? So we're happy with we're happy with this, right? We've addressed our 2s. Oh, we need to play, we need our, we need 2 4s. There's no 4s down here. We have 1, we need 2, it's here. Oh my gosh, I have to lose this in. Okay. That gives us 6 8 here. It was 6 7 8 triple. So you're just a 3. You're 8. You're not an 8. You're 8. You're 3. 2 7 pair there. You're the other half of a 6 7 pair. This is a 6 7 8 triple, which places the 2 and another digit out of nowhere known as a 4. A 7, a 2, the 4, the 2. That is an 8. It would appear 7, 8, 7, 6, 6, 8, 7. Did I do that right? That's the 6, that's the 7. One would hope. You're the 4, and now we just have a 6 7 pair, and we know the situation. Wow! Lindsay, that was so cool. I've never done a puzzle quite like that. I feel like I've never quite seen something like that. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That was really interesting. Like well, I don't even know what to say. Like that interaction is so unique. I feel like I've never done anything quite like that before. Like it's almost like a I mean, I guess it's just kind of what a see and like a look and say is. It's just like a recipe, but I've just never done quite this version where there was I have a, like, you know, from the very start, the idea that like, well, I have to have 3 of these split over 3 cage, so it's limited in that way. Really interesting, but I feel like there was like really cool interaction, and then the way that sometimes the whispers unfurled that, like, I feel like one of the most like unique pieces of logic was 9s getting ruled out of here and the 1 getting captured down here, which really put a lot of pressure on the other 5s. That was really cool. So even though I'm heartbroken we didn't end up with any thruples, very exciting. Hey, Lucy. Where do you get this? Yeah, there's a link right there. Okay, I'm curious about this. So this is the inspiration, this puzzle. Oh, is this on LMD yet, or you haven't published this yet? Is this a first look, Flinty? Looky here. Wow. Oh, that's adorable. That's very cute. Yeah, the look and say cage is really cool. Won't be out for weeks. Oh, thanks for the early share. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, the easy and nice list. That's how I used to always filter. When I was first getting started and I didn't understand anything, I would like use the search filters to like give me the highest niceness with the lowest difficulty. Wow, that is a very high niceness for very low difficulty. Cool. Okay, that is very sweet. I'm so grateful for that. I really appreciate the like early sharing. I'll always love that. So that was great, Flinty. I do unfortunately have to run, and I'm going to be out of town for several weeks. So I think unless by some miracle I have a moment to stream, it may not be till late October till I stream again, but I'm so grateful for everyone stopping by. It's always so lovely. I always feel like, oh, I don't have enough time, but then everyone is so kind and so patient. I really appreciate that. So unfortunately I must run, but I will return. Thank you again for sharing the puzzles, and have a great rest of your time. Thank you. Rest of your time? I don't know what that meant. Have a great rest of your day. The rest of your time on this earth. Have a great time on earth, everyone. Okay, goodbye.